Hey guys, that's right here, and welcome back to another Clash Royale video. Today, I've gotten myself back up to 20-2 in this global tournament, which is definitely not too shabby. And the deck that I got it with is definitely quite annoying. Expo, Royal Recruits, Pump. I mean, I don't even need to explain. This deck is honestly just very annoying for your opponents to face. Nevertheless, I did make it just earlier today, specifically to counter the current meta. A lot of people don't have sufficient counters for the Elixir collector, so by combining that with the spell bait of the Expo and the Musketeer, that obviously provides a lot of synergy that can just absolutely tear up this meta and get you a ton of positive Elixir trades and gain you some massive Elixir advantages once you're able to stack up those Elixir collectors. In addition, Royal Recruits are just super effective because a lot of decks nowadays run the Fishermen, which basically get completely nullified by the Royal Recruits. Anyways guys, let's go ahead and hop into a couple of replays and show you guys exactly how I play this deck to counter the most popular decks in this meta. Alrighty, starting out this first match here is going to be against a Royal Giant deck. Now this is kind of the classic, more popular variation of Royal Giant in this meta, and starting off I don't exactly have the best hand. Obviously I'd like to have the Elixir collector in cycle, but so I'm just cycling here to my Musketeer there. I think I go ahead and play it down, and yeah, the Musketeer will take out that Hunter, no big deal. And then he goes in with the Fisherman in the back, and at this point I really am thinking that he is running Royal Giant. So I go ahead and split my Royal Recruits in the back. I couldn't exactly pump up there because obviously if I did he would just shove a Royal Giant in front of everything and I'd be kind of screwed. Either way though, he does get himself a pretty big push here, right? Because the Royal Recruits end up just stalling his Fisherman and allow him to get a Royal Giant in front. So he gets that Royal Giant down. I get my Tesla down of course, but yes, let's see here. Electro Spirit plus Log will finish out the Firecracker luckily, and then a Musketeer towards the side right there is going to limit that Royal Giant to 0 hits onto that tower. As you can see right there, those Fire Spirits coming in clutch. Fire Spirits are honestly quite underrated in this current meta. Their splash radius increase they got a couple of seasons ago is actually quite significant. So they can pretty much one-shot like skeleton dragons and flying machines, so it can really come in handy, especially in a pinch. So anyways, here I do feel pretty safe pumping up. His Royal Giant is 1 card away, so yep, there we go. There goes the pump, and he's going to Fireball onto it. So this is where this deck is so effective, because Fireball onto the pump is an even Elixir trade while also getting his Fireball out of cycle. So that pretty much frees me up to defensive Expo or going with a Musketeer or anything, and he simply won't have an adequate answer for it because he has to Fireball out the pump. So here I go in with a Tesla. I'm trying to protect the Expo and, you know, have it retain as much of its HP as possible. But unfortunately here the Fisherman does come in and take out a big chunk of the Expo's HP. So here I'm pumping up again. I want to get that Fireball out of cycle. What the goal here against the Royal Giant matchup is you want to set up a healthy defensive Expo and then turn that into a counter push on offense. So once again I split my Royal Recruits in the back, and then I go in again with the defensive Expo. His Fireball's not in cycles, so he can't exactly Fireball that out. And because the Royal Recruits are down, he can't exactly Fisherman either to try and snipe that Royal Giant. So of course, you can see that Expo is just getting so much value. It snipes out the Hunter, it snipes out the Fisherman. I get myself another pump down, and he has to Fireball, of course, or else he'll be kind of so behind in Elixir. But at this point, I'm already quite ahead. I have a healthy Expo on defense, I have a set of Royal Recruits down, and we're even on Elixir. So I go in with an Expo right here. Of course, Tesla will predict the Royal Giant. And then I think I follow up with a Musketeer up high like so. His Electro Spirit does get a ton of value, but we still manage to sneak that Expo onto the tower. And look at this, he has 0 Elixir in the bank. Royal Recruits are on the left lane taking the tower down, and yeah, Expo will finish that tower, take it down to 820. So here I just get myself a sneaky little King Tower activation. Doesn't make a difference at all in the grand scheme of things because we're against Royal Giant, but whatever. It's still a King Tower activation, right? Anyways, here Log clears out that Electro Spirit. Musketeer finishes off the Hunter as well as that Royal Giant nice and easily. I think I pump up once again here. Yeah, I pump up once again, and of course he's going to Fireball it out, or does he? Okay, I guess he doesn't Fireball it out this time. I guess he realizes that, you know, he needs to save the Fireball for his offensive pushes, or else there's just simply no way he's going to break through. So at this point, he's trying to build up a massive double lane pressure here. here. Firecracker on the left lane to utilize her long range. However, I mean, Royal Delivery down completely nullifies the fisherman right there. High Tesla will finish off that Royal Giant. I believe I just go in with another defensive expo here. Yep, defensive expo right there, and it's going to get a ton of value, taking out pretty much everything here. So he starts stacking his units here, but I get a pretty valuable log that'll finish off most of this stuff. I cycle to a Tesla. His fireball's out of cycle, so he can't take out the Tesla right there. I go in with an expo on offense here, and with 31 seconds left, he's just struggling to get troops down in time. He does get that Royal Giant down, but I cycle a Tesla right there, and then I zap to reset that Royal Giant. So now the Royal Giant's targeted onto the Tesla. I go in with a Musketeer right there, and it's gonna damage everything down. Expo locks onto the tower, and that is just GG's. Expo finishes off the tower, and with 10 seconds left in overtime, absolutely taking down a Royal Giant deck with this Expo recruits. Alright, so this second match here is going to be against Assassin's King from Gurrier de Nuit. So yeah, starting off, this is going to be the one of the more popular graveyard variants that's popped up this meta. It's the Graveyard Hut. I think it has the Battle Healer, if I remember correctly, this variant. Starting off here, I just split my Fire Spirits right there. Unfortunately, not the best, but he goes in with a Barb Hut, so I immediately know it's Graveyard. So I just go in with the defensive expo. The point of this play was also to bait out a poison, which I was successful at, which allows me to actually play down an Elixir Collector, and I don't really have to worry about him having poison in cycle. So baited out the Elixir Collector. Expo is going to finish off those Barbarians, so I don't really have to worry about them. And I am a little bit worried about him just graveyarding on top of the Collector, but personally, what I am a little bit more concerned about is protecting that Collector. So I believe he goes in with a Graveyard here, if I'm not mistaken, but here, as you can see, I just go in with a defensive Tesla there. I obviously know he's going in with a Graveyard, or I guess he doesn't. Okay, well, I guess I'm remembering a different match here. But as you can see, Royal Recruits down will finish off the night. And I just cycled to another expo. I think I try and snipe that Barb Hut. I think so, actually. Yeah, so I go in with an expo. I try to snipe down that Barbarian Hut, and as you can see, he's pretty much low on Elixir here, and he pretty much does not have Elixir to deal with that expo. I go in with some Fire Spirits there that'll finish off that Mega Minion. It does get one hit onto the expo, but that's fine. He's so low on Elixir, and I am able to get myself a pump here. So, pretty good start here. Poison nowhere in cycle, so he has no way to deal with the expo, the Elixir Collector, or the Musketeer, which frees me up in terms of defensive options quite a lot. So that pump is down, getting myself so much value here, and as we head towards double elixir time, things are looking pretty good. He goes in with a knight in the back. I think I just Musketeer to match it. And then play down my Royal Recruits in front like so. Unfortunately, I do misplay it a little bit. I play the Royal Recruits a little too far behind, and they do walk in front of that Musketeer. So I just Tesla there, that'll finish off that stuff. He uses Poison Spell, so a bit of a questionable decision on his end, I'll admit. And that frees me up to go in with an Expo and a Musketeer. He doesn't have a big spell. I have a pump advantage, so I just go in with the Royal Recruits up high, and that'll pretty much just clog up that entire lane. He gets a poison spell down onto the expo, I think, or no, he just goes in with skeleton dragons, but Tesla's going to damage those down one by one. And look at the other side, Royal Recruits get some incidental damage as well, and I get to pump up one more time. So I believe, yeah, Musketeer down right there. And I'm just going to go right in with another expo here. Unfortunately, he huts at the exact same time, so I'm going to give him some poison value here. And this expo is pretty much just dead. Not much I can do there. But expo will still get a lot of damage there onto the Barb Hut, which will be quite significant. And it also baited out the poison, so I get myself a second pump down. So now I go in with another defensive Tesla, and he's going to obviously start building up his graveyard push. So I Musketeer up high right here, go in with Royal Recruits up high as well to stop the knight from actually tanking for the graveyard push here. Electro Spirit does a decent job against the graveyard, and now that his poison's out of cycle, I have a 2-pump advantage, so I'm pretty comfortable going in with an expo on offense once again. So Musketeer down right here. We'll finish off those skeleton dragons, Tesla up high, and then Expo immediately into the opposite lane. He's going to play Barb Hut at the bridge, which is a little bit of a confusing move for me, but whatever. I just go into the Musketeer there, and then Electro Spirit right there, and I will get myself an Expo lock onto the tower, and I just go in with another Expo in the opposite lane, and he's just so low on Elixir. I mean, what can you do at this point? I go Musketeer, I just kind of log everything out. 2 Teslas obliterate his Electro Wizard, so it doesn't even reset the Expo, and the Expo just completely obliterates the tower. So as you can see, by utilizing the Expo, the Collector, and the Musketeer to bait out the opponent's poison, I'm able to literally just control the entire match, and he has no way of building up an Elixir advantage over me. Alrighty, so this next match is going to be against a Japanese player from Demon Powers. So he's going to be running Golem, which traditionally is going to be a rather annoying matchup for Expo, especially since he has the cannon cart. But just look at how this deck kind of just tears apart Golem. So starting off here, I don't exactly feel like making the first move, but I mean, he's running Golem, so he's not going to bite either. I cycle my Electro Spirit there real quick, and then Fire Spirits as well. He goes in with a Baby Dragon, so yeah, obviously Musketeer down, we'll be able to finish that off nice and easily. And so yeah, I have a surviving Musketeer. He's gonna cannon cart right into that, and so I just go ahead, I believe, play defensive Tesla. I don't exactly feel like pumping up in case he's running like Graveyard or something, and if I pump up, that just leaves me so low on Elixir that it just simply was not a good idea. But now that the cannon cart dies, I feel comfortable pumping up here, so that is exactly what I do. He goes in with a Golem in the back, and now I'm thinking I'm in a little bit of trouble, but of course I just go ahead to Expo opposite lane. The big point of Expo decks is you want to apply opposite lane pressure. Kind of an obvious play. Fire Spirits down, almost splash onto those Barbarians. Unfortunately, they did not, but I am able to leave him low enough on Elixir that he's pretty much unable to support his Golem push. So the naked Golem is just going to get completely shredded by this Tesla as well as that Musketeer, while the pump just generates me back all of the Elixir that I may have lost. So Golem will get a little bit of damage onto the pump, which is a little bit of a bummer, but he actually doesn't have a big spell in this deck, so that actually got a little bit lucky there. So of course, as I reach 10 Elixir, I get another pump down. Again, he does not have a big spell, so those 2 pumps pretty much have free reign on the arena. And as we head towards double Elixir time, I predict a Golem, so I just Expo in the opposite lane, I think, as I reach 10 Elixir. Okay, I guess I don't predict it, but I go in with an Expo in the opposite lane, and that's going to force out a response, right? So of course he goes in with that Lumberjack. I believe I just go, yep, Royal Recruits up high like so. Tesla right there is going to finish off that Golem, and you can see the Royal Recruits, man, they do so much work. They take out the cannon cart right there, and yeah, I go in immediately with an Expo in the opposite lane. He does not have Elixir for the Golem, and Expo gets a very, very healthy lock onto the tower. So of course, Royal Recruits come down once again. I go in with a Tesla as well, I believe, as soon as I can, or no, I go in with the Musketeer. That'll DPS down the Baby Dragon, and look at this, guys. The Royal Recruits take out the cannon cart as well. Expo damages down the tower, and look at this. The Golem literally has gotten like less than like 200 damage onto my tower the entire match, and I'm just able to completely shut him out by playing smart pressure with the Expo and simply making sure that he cannot build up any sort of Golem push. Alrighty, next up we're going to be against Coco972 from Atsuki FR, or Akatsuki FR. Okay, so we're just gonna stop trying to pronounce his name, but he is playing Giant Sparky. So obviously I don't have a big spell in this deck, so taking out a lot of his stuff can be a bit of a trouble, but of course the Royal Recruits are going to come in super duper clutch in this match. So obviously he starts out the match with a Giant Sparky. So yeah, obviously Electro Spirit is going to reset that Sparky, and the Royal Recruits down will pretty much take out this entire push. So pretty successful defense right there. Unfortunately though, the Musketeer will go down to that Sparky, and I actually had to go in with a log or else the Sparky would get a hit onto the tower. So yeah, you can see he definitely has enough splash and firepower to just completely eat through those Royal Recruits, and you can see that that's going to become a pretty big issue as we get later into this match. So you can see, even though I am able to pretty much defend his pushes, that just kind of leaves me constantly on the defensive end. I literally do not have any room to pump up, so it's really a big struggle when it comes to trying to build up an Elixir advantage, because pretty much the only way you're gonna win with this deck is if you're able to build up a massive Elixir advantage, and I really couldn't in this match, so that was a little bit of a bummer. So here Sparky takes out the Fire Spirits, bit of a misplay on my end. Should have played the Royal Recruits a little bit earlier, but fortunately the Musketeer is able to clean things up pretty nicely, and yeah, as you can see, he's going to have to defend quite a bit of this as well, or actually he's just going to tank a couple of Musketeer hits, which, since he is playing a beatdown style deck, isn't too bad of a decision. So now in turn, as we head towards double Elixir time, I realize I kind of have to switch things up, because he's just constantly going to be building those Sparky pushes towards my tower, and he's just going to get chip damage over and over again. So I had to switch things up, so I took the initiative to pump up as we headed towards double Elixir time, and now we just kind of reset and try and play the exact same defense we did before. So Electro Spirit resets everything. I go in with the Royal Recruits right there, and then the Musketeer is going to finish pretty much all of this stuff off. As you can see right there, Electro Spirit's going to reset that Sparky for us. I get another Tesla down, he gets another Giant down, and at this point I'm really trying to save for those Recruits, and I get those down just in time right there. As you can see, I'm really struggling to defend. The Heal Spirit connects, and that Sparky just gets even more health right there. And at this point, I'm thinking that I probably am going to lose this match. As you can see, his relentless pressure is really getting to me, and yeah, I'm really struggling to defend. So again, I'm trying to switch things up. I'm trying different things. I tried to pump up, didn't really work, so now I'm trying a defensive expo. So I go in with the defensive expo. I go in with the Tesla right there. Electro Spirit did not actually reset the Sparky, which was, oh my gosh, that just absolutely ruined my day right there. Fortunately though, the expo barely manages to damage down that Sparky right there, and yeah, that actually worked out pretty well. So now I go in with an expo opposite lane, but unfortunately he just straight up shoves a Giant, and there's literally nothing I can do about it. Giant single-handedly takes out my Expo Tesla push. So that's just a big positive Elixir trade for him, so kind of misplay on my end now that I look back at it. But now I just go in with a set of Royal Delivery right there. That'll pretty much finish all this stuff off. I do need a Musketeer as well, or else yeah, or else the Skeleton Dragons will just DPS down all of his stuff. I go in with Fire Spirits there just to soak up a little bit of that charge, and the Musketeer will finish off that Sparky. So now as we head towards the last minute, I really have to get something going, and fortunately that defensive expo play kind of worked out pretty well last time, so I'm trying the same thing again. Hopefully I can get something to work out a little bit better in my favor. So Musketeer down, I go in of course with the Royal Recruits. I think I go in with a log there on that Giant, and Fire Spirits deplete those Skeleton Dragons. So I'm thinking I have to go in here. So of course I get that stuff down right here. Musketeer is going to actually damage down that mini P.E.K.K.A. And look at this, Expo's locked onto the tower, and it's just going to do absolute work. Meanwhile, I'm defending this push on the left. He decides to go all in, but the Expo actually finishes off the tower before that push could get any major damage in. So managing to take down this Giant Sparky matchup, very, very difficult, but as you can see, by trying new things and figuring out one thing that worked, I was able to edge out that win in the last triple Elixir time. So there we go, as you can see, getting to 20-2 in this global tournament with Expo Royal Recruits Elixir Collector. This is definitely a very, very interesting deck, and if you're looking for something different than what you normally play, give it a try. It's honestly really, really fun, albeit very annoying for your opponents. But unfortunately, guys, that's all I've got time for in today's episode. Huge thanks to all of my channel members. You guys are the absolute G's. If you enjoyed, please leave a like down below, as well as a subscription to my channel. And as always, this is Legendaray, and I'm signing off. See you guys next time.